The average UFC middleweight stands at 6'1" with a 75-inch reach. Think of names like Sean Strickland, Robert Whittaker, and Dricus du Plessis. But every once in a while, a fighter comes around who doesn't exactly fit that mold. Enter Yusri Belgaraoui.
Yusri, the baby-faced assassin, Belgaraoui!
Standing at 6'6", that puts him nearly a half a foot taller than the average opponent. But it's not just his huge frame, his reach, or height. It's the way he uses it. You see, before stepping into the octagon, Yusri was an elite kickboxing pro for Glory Kickboxing. He boasted a win over Alex Pereira in their trilogy, and many others, with 13 total KOs.
Yusri Belgaraoui!
He carved his way through the promotion, never reaching champion status, but fighting many legends, including Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. So now, you have a massive, high-level striker entering the middleweight UFC division. How does he do? Surprisingly, Yusri's first fight in the UFC was a loss against Marco Tulio. It was an upset loss on Season 7 of Dana White's Contender Series. The scorecards were 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27. After the decision loss, Belgaraoui took an extremely quick turnaround in 60 days to go fight on the regional scene in fight levels. Yusri dominated this fight with his piston jab and hard calf kicks, and at the very end of the first round, he finished with a knee, and it was an absolute masterclass performance, and he made quick work of this regional scene fighter. His next fight was for the championship of this regional promotion. This fight was against current Bellator fighter Ahmed Sami. In round 1, Yusri landed a huge knee towards the end of the first round and then landed some nasty elbows to conclude the round. Then round 2 is really more of the same, with Yusri landing a good jab and then absolutely destroying Sami with those knees up the middle, perfectly timing them every time he goes for a takedown. Sami had no chance. He cut him open multiple times, but Sami had a chin on him for sure. Domination by Yusri this round. Then round 3 is less of a chaotic round, with Yusri landing this beautiful fake spinning back fist, spinning back kick, and then he lands a knee and then just continues beating him up with that jab. He coast through round 3, winning the round though. And in the last 2 rounds, Yusri just outboxes him and outclasses him on the feet and gets the decision victory for the light heavyweight division of the Fight Level Championship. And after those 2 very impressive wins, he got another shot in the UFC, which he dominated with a knee up the middle, then a knee up the head, and then he finished the fight from punches, so it was a TKO stoppage. And from here on, Yusri is challenged with his toughest opponent yet, Asmat Bakoyev, who is an absolute killer and just finished 2 people in the UFC who was looked at as a powerful prospect with good ground and pound. And right away in the first round, Bakoyev shot a takedown, and he got it. Surprisingly, Yusri's takedown defense and defensive grappling was great. Yusri was up, and this is when the carnage started. He was landing jab after jab, bloodying up Bakoyev's face, and landing an occasional knee every now and then up the middle. Then in rounds 2 and 3, it was not even close. Bakoyev could not get away from that jab. It seemed like wherever he went and whenever he backed up, Yusri was finding his chin. That 79-inch reach and 6'6" frame is too dangerous for these smaller guys that are prospects, and he showed it this night. So after beating a great UFC prospect, what does the UFC do? They give him another UFC prospect, and this one's a wrestling guy with jiu-jitsu. Crazy. They gave him Abdul Malik.
A name that you want in this top 15?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that it doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you. I train Roman Dolidze, I train Sean Strickland. I've seen what Mansoor does in the room with all those guys. I know what he's capable of.
Yusri was once again the underdog in this fight, fighting a young prospect who had 4 wins in the UFC already with 1 draw. But once again, Yusri showed that his wrestling is heavily underrated, getting up from Mansoor's double leg takedown and holding him against the fence, surprising everybody. Once Yusri realized he could keep it on the feet in round 2, it was a similar story to almost every fight we've seen in the past, where he gets a couple knees up the middle, lands a couple crazy jabs, and almost puts their opponent away. And in this case, he almost did put Mansoor away, but the bell saved him. In round 3, he finished a already wobbled Abdul Malik with his signature long lengthy knee straight to the head. So the question arises, why can't a giant UFC middleweight with high level striking and solid takedown defense get high in the rankings? What do you think? Do you think Yusri can climb? Who are the opponents he can beat? Can he beat a Gregory Rodriguez? Can he beat a Dricus? Could he outclass Sean Strickland? If you ask me, I think the sky is the limit with Yusri, and I don't think he's a prospect anymore. I think he's a contender.